Welcome to Uplink, where we explore the world of digital infrastructure, uncovering the technology fueling AI and cloud innovation with the leaders making it happen. All right, I'm here. We're in San Francisco. We're with LT, an old friend of mine, Linda Tong. We first met when you were at Cisco, or actually you're at AppD. You ran all product at AppD for a period of time. And I was in the Thousand Eyes role, and we were working together a lot. Actually, there was a lot of, at the time, it was, yes, and there was full stack observability was this thing, and there was all these components to it. Your background is probably the most fascinating background. I'd love to bounce through that really quickly as well. But you're currently the CEO at Webflow, which is an incredible company that is, and I'd love you to share a little bit of this, what Webflow was, where it is today, and what's going on with AI, because that's also changed. We use your platform, so we're very grateful for that. Yeah, the marketing team love it because they can actually build websites really, really quickly without having to talk to our developers or whatever it is. I guess it's the web development team. So for all these events and whatever it may be, they're just punching out great, beautiful, beautiful content that they can deliver themselves. So we use you a lot for that. And I know you've got incredible scale on the Webflow side, but also your background is really crazy. So I can't remember what you landed at Google, but were you somewhere before Google? Was Google the first?
I did a very short stint in investment banking, which is sort of like soul sucking.
Yes. Well, you were at Yale before that, I think.
Yeah, I was at Yale.
So if we rewind.
Citigroup.
Yes.
So Yale, I studied economics.
Oh, yes.
Healthcare.
Of course you did.
My senior thesis was rewriting the Medicare Act of 1965. So clearly, very applicable to my job.
Totally makes sense from a product side.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then I went.
But also, you got yourself through college. You were hustling at that point in time.
Hustling. Doing a lot of jobs. I had 3 jobs.
Yes.
And then I had a poker hobby on the side.
This is one of my favorite ones. Yes. You actually were doing some pretty high stakes poker to fund your way through college. Yeah.
Online poker helped a lot. So Party Poker, Poker Stars. It's always the good stuff.
It's so cool. Yeah. Actually, you gave me a really good book to read.
Thinking in Bets.
Thinking in Bets, yeah.
Annie Duke.
Yes.
Fantastic book.
Awesome book. I actually gave it to the team. It's so good. It actually, you use it a lot. It's like, oh, you're so convinced of that, are you? What would you bet on it? And so it's like changes the dynamic.
And more importantly, it's about not resulting. And so it's making sure that when you make a decision, knowing that decision is a bet and there's different outcomes that could happen.
Correct. It's not guaranteed.
Regardless of what the outcome is, making sure that doesn't influence how you make that decision.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But I got all these little notes that I wrote down from it, actually. I should really look at it. Anyway, I love that you must have had a very mathematical brain, though, given that you studied something
math
very.
And econ.
Yeah, there you go. So then you landed, so you did investment banking randomly.
Yeah, did that. I mean, that was sort of the
interesting experience.
Everybody was doing investment banking or consulting.
Yeah, okay.
So I did it just to follow the crowd, and I was terrible.
Yeah.
It was not for me. It's
funny. I deal with a lot of investment bankers now.
I know.
Yeah,
I talk a lot too, and I respect them so much for what they do. But my only skill that came out of it was learning how to traverse Excel without using a mouse. Right, that was like the one. If you could do that, you're set. All the keyboard shortcuts.
Yes.
And then writing Visual Basic. But
so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that, and then realized very quickly it wasn't for me. Quit that. And applied for any job that would take me, any job. I applied to Microsoft as a test engineer, which, by the way, I don't know how to code. I actually never took a CS class. Then I applied for a job at Google to be a product marketing manager, and I applied for a job at Abercrombie & Fitch to do men's jackets, outerwear.
Of course, this makes complete sense.
Yeah, very
what do you
obvious.
do men's jackets?
Like supply chain for designing men's outerwear and actually figuring out the supply chain to produce these jackets and get them in stores. Which I have zero fashion sense. Yeah. I have zero supply chain background.
But made sense. Yeah.
Made sense. It was a job that wasn't investment banking. So,
yeah, true. Yeah, okay.
Luckily, of the 3, I got offers at all 3, but Google made the most compelling offer because they basically were like, "This is a job we think you can do."
Yeah. What year was that?
2007.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, I'm aging myself.
No. But yes, but at the time, I remember because Google was so hot. And then I remember in 2004, I first came across Google, or maybe 2003, probably. I've still, my email's like mick.reid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I was
I'm proud. I have Linda.Tong.
How good is it? Yeah.
There's hundreds of us out there. And I got that name. I got the namespace. I feel so proud.
So was it 2007 or 8? What did you say?
2007.
2007. So
Yeah.
just before the world caved in.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
you joined Google. And I think you worked throughout that time with current CEO
Yeah.
as well along the way. You had lot of experiences, but yeah.
I was like a little nobody at the bottom of the totem pole. But the team that I joined when I joined Google was Chrome. And at the time, the VP for Chrome was Sundar. And, I got to sort of, many steps away, but got to work on that team and help launch Chrome to the world, which, for Google, that's really unique because it was the first launch that was multilingual. We did it in 52 languages. It was also the first launch that was multi-OS. So usually they would launch on Windows first, then unlock like Mac and then Linux. And
we're talking Chrome, the browser.
yeah, Chrome, the
everything
browser.
that you launched.
The
this.
original
Yeah,
browser.
which I use every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And so, this was a huge launch for Google. And it was like, it didn't leak, which is like pretty unique. Except
because you have had
ended up-
experiences.
except it ended up leaking. But it was just this magnanimous launch. Like, it was absolutely incredible. And I got to work with some of the most talented people who many are still actually at Google. But that was probably the coolest thing you could work on. And I got to launch it to the world. And on the marketing side, one of the most interesting things is like, what's the campaign going to be?
Yeah.
How are you going to talk about it? And our original campaign was Chrome, the browser built for apps, because what was unique about the browser at the time was it had this V8 engine that could basically run complex applications really quickly.
In the browser itself.
In the browser.
Yeah,
So,
which didn't exist. Yes.
if you think about
Now it's
apps
normal.
like Facebook or Amazon at the time, these were complex, web applications that needed a powerful browser to run quickly versus like a simple HTML website.
I remember it just being so fast.
It was super fast.
Yeah.
It was lightweight.
Yes.
And
That's
it's
what
just,
I loved
it didn't
yeah.
have a lot to it. It was just like a search bar and then like basically a browser. And so that was our claim to fame. But then as we were testing out the marketing campaign, the browser built for apps, we realized that no one knew what an app was. Because, it's 2007. Everyone's like, oh, everything's a website.
Yeah, that
And I was
iPhone
like-
really wasn't
Yeah.
there actually at that point. No,
Exactly.
Yes.
And I was like, actually, well, some of these are websites and some of
Yes.
these are web apps. And the
Okay.
difference between the two is sort of lost on the public.
Well, they don't care either. It's like an interface.
Oh,
However
yeah.
it comes. Yes. Yeah.
Well, the crazier thing was, as we went deeper into this user research to understand, what do people understand about websites and apps, I realized very quickly when asking a couple of people, I was like, so what browser do you use then?
Yeah.
Right? And most people were like, oh, I use the Google browser.
Which is Internet Explorer, but they had I guess Google as the default home.
Google was like the default homepage. And so people actually
That's
never
so funny.
knew.
I thought they were using Google anyway.
There
Yeah,
was no
that's so
Google
funny.
browser at
Yeah.
the time, right?
Yeah.
And so they're all like, oh, yeah, I use the
I
Google
already
browser.
use that,
And I'm
yeah.
like, really? Like, what is
true.
the icon you click on?
Yeah. Has it got an E on it?
Yeah, there's a blue E. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that that's Internet Explorer.
Mm-mm.
And I remember asking a couple of people, I was like, so how do you spell internet? ENT. And I was like, oh God, this is the worst.
So
But that, doing that research and realizing that everyone thought that they were already using the Google browser when there wasn't a Google browser. They're in fact using IE or Firefox.
it means
or
you don't have to convince
Safari.
people that you're a safe bet.
Exactly.
I already do use it. No, you
Yeah.
just need to click to our
You just
actual
actually have
new
to
one.
use it,
Here's the
yeah.
new version.
And so we changed our entire campaign. We stopped talking about apps because we realized it was a little bit too complex. And the entire marketing campaign was Chrome, the browser built by Google.
That's it. It's so
Because,
simple.
like-
I'm pretty sure I remember that. And it was fast. There was
It
like
was,
quick
super
or
fast.
or
Like
something
the
like that.
icon
Yes.
would would spin really fast.
Yeah.
It was a,
I
marketing
remember downloading
genius.
it on every laptop I ever got. And I used to run my parents' real estate IT. The first thing I'd do is delete Internet Explorer and download Google and then start downloading the other stuff. So yes. But was that the one that you told me some story? I don't even know if you can share this publicly or not, but the one that I think I can't remember a link, but the marketing team accidentally sent.
Yeah.
It was like send something to analysts or something. Was that the one, or
Yeah.
was that Android, or was that?
It was Chrome.
okay.
We had this comic book to explain how complex this browser was and how special it was, and a lot of the story behind why we built it. And that comic book, which was meant to go out sort of the night before the launch to all these major tech reporters, it somehow got to this German reporter weeks ahead of time, and person got it on Labor Day, scans every page, uploads it to
Oh my God.
The Verge,
Yes.
and suddenly I'm getting a call on Labor Day, and it's like, what's going on? What happened? Why did we leak this? And like all of us are just driving down to Mountain View and war rooming it and like launching. We're like, just launch the browser. So we're just turning everything on, which is absolutely wild. But luckily
How
it's
many?
pretty well
Sorry,
baked.
how early was it before you went?
Couple of weeks.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So everyone's prepared for this perfect launch.
Yeah.
The German team
And then
gets it.
meanwhile we're like, shit, get it out.
Probably got the hustle. Actually, you told me, I think you were trying to get people in because, like, you had to, everyone's on holidays or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of
It would have been like this Monday.
no,
Was
no,
it?
Labor
No,
Day. That's
Labor Day.
September.
Oh,
You're
okay.
thinking
Okay.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
American
yes, yes, yes.
holidays.
Too many. Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but yeah,
Um,
Labor Day, literally Labor Day. It's the day to take off because of all the labor. But yeah, so
in hustle.
a lot of people are coming in on a day off. But it was honestly, it was my first time being in the trenches, like truly feeling like in the trenches with a team, and it's the most addictive feeling you can ever have. Like you chase that feeling all the time because being in the trenches with folks, you feel like a team and you feel your impact right away. And it makes you so grateful for everything you can do. And um, whenever I work with any other team, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for these moments where we can come together and achieve something.
Yeah, it's funny that in these moments of utter chaos or panic or whatever, the ones that some folks lift and in pressure, folks just show up in a way you never thought, and then you end up building a team of people around you that you know will always show up like that. So if you see someone hustle like that, the next time you have a problem, you just bring that same team together, and you know you're just going to be able to execute through it. Which I suspect you ended up because you also did Android, didn't you as well?
Yeah.
Is that
So
yeah, which is pretty
after
wild.
Chrome, I got
Yeah.
to migrate to a new, like, I was in a rotational program because I'm like little junior of the
Yeah.
junior. So I'm in this rotational program and they're like, okay, you have to move. And I got my top pick and I got to move to Android as my next rotation, which was out of this world.
So
Um,
Android hadn't launched at that time?
had not launched
Hadn't
yet.
launched.
So,
Okay, so you
Google had
yeah.
acquired Android.
Ah,
So
okay, I didn't know
it was
that
a separate
actually.
company.
Yeah.
Andy Rubin had started on the side and they had
Okay.
acquired Android and they were building the operating system itself and the first device and the app marketplace. And all of that was launching at the same time.
And what year was that? Because
That was, gosh, I think it was 2009 that we
yeah, so
launched it.
iPhones
Late
only
2008, early 2000, because the iPhone had launched first.
2008, I think it was.
Yeah. And then we launched Android basically like early 2009 or late 2008. And basically the T-Mobile G1 was first. And then in quick succession, we had devices across the four main characters.
Of course, because it was open source, I guess, or is it?
It's
Yeah,
open
so
source.
everyone
Anyone could start to do
just
it.
grabbed it. Yeah, yeah.
And it was amazing. Like it just took off.
Still have probably the most
Yeah, I think it's the most
usage
popular
and- yeah.
smartphone at this point in terms of distribution of the operating system.
Yes. Because every Samsung and every
Exactly.
and all the non-Apple folks out there, which is probably hard to do these days, but still, yes, they've all fought for it. And then a lot of developing countries were massive in that space.
Because you can create sort of like any spec of a phone that matches sort of like the minimum specs for Android, and then download the OS and run it on there.
Make it a smartphone of sorts. Okay. Tell me the one story. I don't know if you share it, but the one story where you ended up on a plane in an Android outfit.
This one you probably can't share. But one of the coolest things about Android was that there's a unique culture to the team, right? So we named every OS version after a different dessert. And it just went in alphabetical order. And then at the end of it, we would essentially print these massive versions of the dessert and put it in the front lawn in front of our building in Mountain View. So the first one that most people are aware of is Cupcake. Cupcake was like sort of the first house. And so we printed this giant plastic cupcake and like plopped it in front of the building. And then, there was like a donut and like an eclair and then froyo and like gingerbread. Gosh, what was H? I can't even remember. But like it just was every letter there was a thing. When we got to K, we actually did Kit Kat. So we actually had to get like a branded thing. And we would celebrate by giving everyone these dessert treats when we launched. So you'd have like cupcakes and donuts and whatnot.
Basically getting everyone like weights
Yeah.
increased at all there. Yes. Get a
Exactly, so all of
sugar
us
rush.
got, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
wildly overweight. No, I'm just kidding. But one of the things was we wanted, in addition to all these, like, sort of, desserts on the lawn, we were like, "We should get a big Android,
Oh
and
yeah.
we should
Like
also have, like, Androids
that
everywhere."
Android
Like,
man thing,
yeah, we should get,
whatever
like,
it
a
is.
cool Android
Yeah.
band, and there's some in Korea, and so they're like, "Hey, Linda, go to Korea and get one." And the thing is these things are so big that you'd have to essentially pay for them, print them, put them on a ship, and ship them
What is
over
it?
a
Like
couple of
a sorry,
months.
it's like
Big plastic, like, Android suit,
a suit
like,
that you put on a
bodysuit that you
human.
could sort of wear,
Okay.
and they're like, "Well, you could just get one and wear it onto the plane," which we attempted to do, and I was the nominee. I volunteered as tribute,
Someone who can fit in this and maybe fit in a seat with it on. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went to try and attempt that, but what we ultimately ordered a bunch and shipped them to the United States and in a shipping container, but it was the culture of the team was really incredible. Just like the things that we did, it was almost like a subculture inside of Google that did all these like really funny, silly things, but it brought us together to launch all these different versions of the operating system.
So I think you went to, I don't know where you went for. You went to a startup actually from there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you
So
built some
I
mobile apps or something.
my claim to fame inside of Google is like everybody did this thing called 120% time or 20% time. It was really just extra work on top of your full-time job. And my hobby was sports. I had proposed sports.google.com so many times and I got shut down every time. But I had found sort of a community of people who also love sports like me. And so we'd worked on things in my 20% time of like the sports one box. So when you search for sports scores, what shows up there is something I
Yeah, yeah,
helped
yeah.
work
Now,
on.
okay, that's cool. Yeah,
We
I use
built
that
like
all the
a
time. Like, what's the score? And you can,
right? What's the
yeah, yeah.
sport right
So
now?
good.
Like
Yes,
what
yes.
what's the Knicks game?
It's actually
Winning by 30.
it's so accurate for random things. It's always they score a
It's
point or
yeah, it's a
how it
live
is. Yeah,
score,
yeah.
and so Google's top one box was always the sports one box because that's just it gets the most traffic. Um, so worked on that. Also worked on like a fantasy football app and a March Madness app and a scores app. So did all these like kind of fun things on the side. And like what was key to that was actually the people I worked with. This guy Ben Lewis and this other guy Stephen McCarthy. We essentially did this 20% time project together. And Ben ended up leaving Google to start a company called Tapjoy. And he left with and built it with his best friend Lee. And as they were starting to pick up momentum, he called me and was like, "Come over, come be our PM," and Steven as well. And so me and Steven went over to Tapjoy. We're the first two like sort of full time employees beyond the founders, and then we brought over one of Steven's best friends. And so the five of us, as well as another guy from Google that I was close with named Kai, we all went over and really like kickstarted Tapjoy. And it started as a mobile gaming company. We were building these mobile apps for iOS and Android. Think like Farmville or, whatever, and, Sudoku and Tap Defense, like all these sort of like fun games. And we weren't very good at it. Like our games sucked. One was a hit, 26 were like a miss. But we realized really quickly with the one that was a hit, we weren't making enough money on it. And so we
As
ended up
in, like, pay $1 to download it or something.
yeah, because it was a free game and we're just trying to monetize it with ads.
Ah, okay.
And we weren't making enough money, and so we ended up building out, like, a monetization mechanism to, like, show more ads. We wanna maximize the number of ads that people were seeing because we were getting all these empty ads. So in the advertising world, it's like we didn't have enough fill rate, right? There weren't enough advertisers. Yeah. And so, sometimes we just have no ad. And then the other thing was we realized that there was no at the time, for both iOS and Android, there wasn't this concept of in-app payments. So if somebody wanted, like, a virtual good in our game,
Yeah, like,
they, like
Blender pops up. I want
yeah.
that Blender bling.
They couldn't really buy
Isn't it
it.
weird that I came up with Blender?
I
Why do you
know,
think I
that's so
said Blender?
bizarre.
It's a bit
What do you
weird.
think about
We can go
blenders?
deep on that
Let's
later.
definitely go deep on that. But yeah, they couldn't buy stuff.
Yeah.
And so we created this incentivized ad network where you could actually take an action, like download an app or sign up for Netflix or, do some action that an advertiser would pay you money for. And that money
Click
would
to
flow
convert or
through.
whatever it is, yeah. An
Exactly. And
actual
then we would give you
conversion.
the blender or give you a
Yeah.
sword or give you a shield. So we created these like really high value ads that were incentivized through action. And we realized really quickly overnight that this game that was really popular but not making a ton of money suddenly started making a ton of money.
Wow.
And we turned
Just
that,
because of the way the ads that you were
yeah,
figuring
because the
out.
ads
Yeah,
themselves could generate more money,
got it.
driving action, and people really wanted these virtual goods and had no way to really pay for them at the time because there
Who's
wasn't like
paying
that.
for the ads? Is it you taking Google ads in that, or is it?
We went directly to advertisers.
Oh, okay.
So
And then
we would
you
talk to
publish that. Okay, I see.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Google could be like, hey, I'll pay you 35 cents to get me a download of the Google app.
Okay.
Or Netflix would be like, hey, I'll pay you $5 to
Oh,
get
so now
someone to
it's not
sign up for
about the game.
Netflix.
Now the game was using the app. The app, sorry, the ad would click to something. It might be
Yeah,
download this. They will pay you 35 cents if you get from your game the app that
to
gets to
download
download.
the app.
Oh, okay.
So a good example
Yes.
is you're playing a tower defense game and you're like, I want a super like arrow and I want to like buy it. And normally you would buy it for $2. And we're like, look, there's no way for you to pay me $2 because there's no payment system in this in iOS. So you'd be like, you know what? Instead of paying me $2, why don't you go sign up for Netflix? If you sign up for Netflix, like click on this ad that I have to sign up for Netflix, sign up, and if you do it, Netflix will pay me $5, and I'll take that $5 and transfer it to you as like this, set of sweet arrows. So we created a ton of ads that basically did that.
You basically invented the world that my kids live in, where they're constantly playing on something and they have to watch an ad to get to the next thing and
Exactly.
make it fast. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was
So you
you.
could like watch an ad.
You've created this world.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, you would watch an ad or you would interact with some sort of like
Yeah.
an offer.
Yes.
They're called offer walls at the time. So you do an offer, and after completing the action, you would get virtual currency. And then you could buy, whatever thing you wanted. And it was already, we didn't invent it. We just did it on mobile first. So at the time, Facebook was huge. Farmville was huge, right? So people were playing all these Zynga games. And they were doing this already. They were like signing up for Disney cruises and magazine subscriptions and getting like coins in Farmville and like buying, I don't know, blueberries and whatnot. And so we just took the same model and tested it on mobile, and it worked. And we turned that into an SDK. We talked to our friends who are also developers building these games, and we gave them the SDK, and they suddenly started making money. And we went from being a gaming company to becoming an advertising company. And then we built this network of publishers, so these game developers and advertisers, and we just matched them together via like our one innovation, which was the offer wall, which is a list of all the offers you could do. And we figured out how to close the loop on the monetization. And suddenly developers are making, millions of
Of
dollars on their
course, yeah.
games.
That's why Fruit Ninja
And
guy made millions and whatever.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that startup went from being, tens of thousands of dollars in revenue to millions of dollars in revenue in, like 10 months. And it was wild.
That's wild back then. Today, that's not wild.
I know. Today, it's like you can go 0 to a million in like 5 hours.
5 hours with one person
Yeah.
and Claude code and
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, just before you, I was chatting to some other folks who've done exactly that. Like the
Yeah.
companies of like 10 people.
Crazy.
Actually, one of them had 4 people and went to $1 million in ARR.
That's absolutely wild.
Now at 25, and I don't know what they're at there. It's like
Probably at like
skyrocketing.
10 trillion.
It's 10 trillion.
Yeah.
Infinity. Yeah.
Infinity.
Approaching infinity.
Infinity.
Yeah. So then you went to NFL, I think.
I actually did another startup
Oh,
with all my Android friends. So all the people I worked with
you
on
did
the
it
Android
again
team
because you love that.
went back and built another phone, built another
Oh,
OS.
okay.
It was called NextBit. It was basically, we took the concept of Android and said, what if we make a cloud phone? A phone that like literally it doesn't matter. The hardware doesn't matter anymore. Your operating system lives in the cloud. You could take the phone, log into it, and all your stuff comes down. You drop the phone in the toilet, get another phone, log in, everything comes back.
It's like virtual machine. What do they call that? Like Citrix for phones or something.
Yeah,
like
more
that.
or less. It's like it carries you in the cloud, and then phones are just sort of like this sort of like lightweight hardware. It doesn't matter what you log into. It's all there.
Yeah.
So we built that. I did that for a couple of years. The company sold to a Singaporean company called Razer, which had actually built like bought a bunch of Android companies. And I went and joined the NFL to go run product because I'm a sports fanatic. I love football. I love the Bears.
Nice.
Um,
What is product at an NFL team?
it's funny. It's because the actual product at the NFL is the game,
NFL.
it's football,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The products that I worked on were digital products. So the websites like NFL.com, the mobile apps, the team websites, yeah, all of our streaming services. I work closely with the network team. We also had all these like side products that, like fantasy football. The fantasy football app is a part of it.
Sort of a
We work
Yahoo
close.
thing? No.
So the NFL had its own
Oh, okay.
own fantasy game that we
Yeah.
work closely with like a bunch of our partners on.
Mm.
We had connected TV apps, so streaming the game. We stream the game in our mobile app all the time. We also built a streaming service so you could actually watch the video on demand, like games afterwards. You could watch all the games that have ever happened. And then we also work really closely with the league itself on like all these things that have come out now that you see now. So for example, Next Gen Stats was a product that was born in the NFL and is now a sponsored product. So you can see positional data on all the players. It's like, they have chips in each of their shoulder pads, there's chips in the ball, chips on the flags, and you can actually see positional data as they play. So it's just a bunch of the digital experiences. It's all the digital experiences around the game that enhance the game.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a customer of ours, the Major League Baseball team.
Oh,
They
yeah.
actually built a streaming app
Yes.
for MLB.
Exactly.
That streaming app became Disney
Yep.
streaming. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They
So they
built the
were, like,
top video
solving.
streaming service.
Yeah. It's so funny.
MLBAM. Yeah. It's
Yes.
MLB Advanced Media.
Yes. I can't remember if
Really exciting.
Disney bought it or was the platform under them or something. But yeah, they ended up,
Yeah.
all the Disney streaming was actually from Major League because they
Yeah.
had so many games.
Yeah.
They had to figure out how to stream them all or what have you. Yeah. And they
Yeah.
solved this really hard problem.
It's super difficult.
Yeah. It's a really interesting problem. Anyway, so then you went to AppD, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where we met.
Yep.
So you were the
So
application performance monitoring.
I know. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
It was my first time moving into enterprise. So this whole time I'd been on the consumer side. And then I was a customer of AppDynamics when I was at the NFL. And I think I was the most hated customer. They I pretty much told them everything was broken, the UX sucked, I didn't like the product, it was too expensive.
You seem to have an
And
opinion here. Come and work for us and fix it. Is that
yeah,
how it
more or
works?
less. I think they're just like, we just got to get this girl to shut up.
Yeah, let's hire her. Stop
They're
the
like, hire her so
complaining.
she can't be a customer
Yeah.
anymore. So I ended up joining AppD to run their innovation lab. And then very quickly I found that we were inside of Cisco, a lot of change was happening, and they're looking for seasoned leaders to step in and help operate the organization as, we'd just been acquired by Cisco.
Yeah, it was like a $3.2 billion acquisition or something crazy. It was huge. It was taken off just before it went public, which was one of
Yeah,
the biggest
the weekend
acquisitions.
before.
Yeah, it was a huge deal at the time. Weekend
Yeah.
before, yeah.
Exactly. And so a lot of
Yeah.
people were really there are people who want to be a part of a standalone public company, and they chose to vote with their feet and left AppDynamics, and other people want to stick with the company. And so there was this transition
It's
of
always a
people.
moment in time, yeah,
Always.
with always the acquisitions,
Yeah.
particularly when an acquisition is different, i.e., Cisco is a giant network. It had compute, it had cybersecurity and so forth, but application performance monitoring was like a totally different
Yeah, it was like a little
thing.
pimple on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It was actually, it's funny, it was when SaaS and software was like so cool. Hardware was sort of frowned upon back
I
then.
know.
It's so funny that it's
how
like,
much
oh
the
my
times
God.
have changed
Oh
now.
my God. So funny that, yeah, hardware's now in vogue and SaaS is the SaaS apocalypse. But at the time, Cisco was trying to get to all their SaaS revenue and actually recurring revenue. And there's a huge focus for the company. So this was a big foray into it. So, yes, they put you in the seat to run it, basically, or to build out all the product and take it, I guess.
Try and turn it into like a tip of the spear
Yes.
for Cisco's like SaaS movement and software movement.
Well, it would
So
have been the largest SaaS revenue they had, probably at the time.
yeah,
Meraki, if you consider that a SaaSy sort of entity,
exactly.
but pure SaaS, it was the
Yeah, it was
largest.
the largest
Yeah,
one.
yeah. When was that acquisition? I can't
It
remember.
was 2017.
Oh, okay. Because
And
Thousand
so
Eyes was 2020.
yep.
So then, yeah,
Yeah.
so it was already 3 years in by that stage. Yeah, okay. Lots of interesting folks. Actually, a lot of successful folks from AppD
Mhm.
went on to do all sorts of interesting things.
Oh yeah,
So
incredible
many of them.
leaders.
Yeah, amazing leaders. CRO went off. I think he
Yeah,
ended up at
he went to
took
Zscaler,
Zscaler. Then
then
he ended
now
up
Wiz,
now with
and I guess
Wiz.
now Google. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah. Well,
whenever that
that.
closes.
Yeah. It's not close.
I
That's
have
still
no
got
idea. I think I
the
don't know,
world's biggest acquisition. Was that 20 or 30 billion? I can't remember.
something crazy
So
like
insane.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that doesn't even seem insane anymore. That was so
I know
crazy.
that was crazy, and now you're like, it's so small.
So
It's like
wow.
it's pennies.
It's silly. So Webflow, CEO of Webflow. Webflow is a really cool company. So explain what Webflow is for folks on the call, and then and then
what's happening in that space. 4 years, it's lots of change, AI, blah, blah, what's going on there. Yes.
Yeah. So Webflow, it's funny. Our original mission was to empower everyone to build for the web. And it was a product that took the complexity of having to know how to code to build a website and turned it into, or rather, democratized how you build websites by creating a visual experience that people could
Like
actually,
vibe coding for
yeah,
websites or something, like before
essentially,
vibe coding
yeah.
existed. Yeah.
It's like vibe coding by visual
Visual
coding. It's like
coding.
visual
Yes.
coding for websites
Yes.
before vibe coding happened. And it allowed people to assemble these amazing, powerful, performant experiences that translated to clean semantic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so it sped up how quickly you could build a website. It changed who could build a website. And it changed who could then actually operate that website going forward. And so it was a huge
That's the
transformation.
key piece. That's why we use it,
Yeah.
because the amount of times we want to spin, the amount of random things. We run 50, like a real simple one. We run 50 events in cities called the World Tour, and everyone wants to build a single page for each one with a little landing thing with this and all the detail, and they want to optimize it for blah, 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 and they want all those things. You either need to talk to a web developer to go and create it, or you literally just go on this and create it yourself. And then it's like, well, it needs to be optimized for mobile. It needs to be optimized. It does all that.
And you
Just
could
takes
do
all
all
that
of
pain
it.
away.
It makes it so
Drop
easy.
some images in it, just makes it work.
Yep.
Yeah. And the marketing team's got no skill set. Well, the marketing folks don't have coding ability, obviously.
hmm
So this
But they
solves
have
all of that.
marketing skills.
They know what good looks like.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make that. And you don't want to translate that to someone who's literally coding the machine behind it. So yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. And what it does is it leverages your marketers for the skills that they have, because it's the website's just one piece of your strategy. Then you're like, oh no, your marketer now needs to run a performance marketing campaign against it.
Right.
They have to drive traffic. They should optimize for signups. They should make sure the language fits. They should think about, SEO and AEO. And so what we've built, so beyond the website where we started, which is just building, we're saying, hey, once you hit publish, there's so much more. And so we've really shifted to own the entire life cycle of that web experience, and going from just building sites to actually managing and optimizing them. So running analytics, we have an analytics platform, we have an optimization platform that allows you to do
Make the
everything.
site load faster, stuff
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, that's one of the big
absolutely.
ones. That then you rate higher in the
Exactly.
searches,
We
and then
help you with SEO and
yes, yes,
AEO. We support you with experimentation. So if you want to do A/B testing, we support you with personalization. Let's say you want to do an account-based marketing campaign. You're going to target
I want
50
I want
different
Webflow's
customers.
logo to come up when I'm targeting you to say, imagine
Exactly.
Webflow and Megaport together. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And so we have a platform that allows you to run personalized campaigns across your key customer targets. We have localization. So you're a global company. You need a version of your website in French, German, Spanish, English, whatnot.
which is really hard.
So hard.
So hard, yes.
And
Even
so,
with all the AI stuff, it's still hard.
yeah.
It's gotten a lot better, but yeah, it's a really tricky one. We're in, I can't remember how many languages, but I want to say like 10 different languages. French, Spanish, Italian, English, German, Japanese, um, Portuguese. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what else we would have. Lots more. Anyway, every time we do anything on the website, we need to deal with every single one of those things, which is tricky. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about translating the words. You want to translate the content as well,
That's true.
your
Yeah.
imagery.
Yeah, yeah,
So you
totally.
want, if
'Cause the
your
image is
American-based site has a picture of, I don't know, the White House,
yeah.
your French one should
Yeah.
probably have the Eiffel Tower or something, right?
Arc de Triomphe. What the hell is that?
Oh my God, right? My French is terrible.
Yes.
But you
Napoleon.
want to have media that is also contextual to
Yes.
the language that you're using.
Totally. Yes. Yeah, if it's all just an American thing in the Japanese, it's going to make zero sense. So yeah, well, I think we must use that for that as well. But one thing that is really hard. So the A/B testing I love, by the way. Our team uses A/B testing, and it's weird. They go, "Hey, do you know we changed the color of the the action button?" Or
Oh yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is.
The call to action.
Yeah, call to
Yeah.
action button from green to pink, and it performs 35% better. Or some weird.
Yeah.
It's like so weird what you can A/B test and
Oh yeah.
optimize. It's so bizarre
You
what
can
they
test
came back and
everything.
yeah, but it's weird what
It's weird what actually
makes a
drives
percentage will
outcomes.
change. I'm like, oh, they really like pink,
Yeah.
or whatever. Maybe it's pink because of the back. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're doing
Maybe
that
it's the
stuff all the
contrast,
time.
maybe it's the color preference,
Yes,
maybe it just captures someone's attention.
our CMO is so technical on that side. He has this. It's funny, like he doesn't really have an opinion on lots of things. In that, his opinion is, we'll test it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the answer, I'll test it. So I was like, oh, I think this video on the homepage is better if it does this. Maybe he's like, yeah, let's test it. I was like, I think if you put a human face, people prefer it to whatever. He's like, maybe he
Just
he
test it.
doesn't
Why not?
agree or disagree. He's like, I'll come back to you, and just comes back with data it's tested. But
Yeah.
yeah, the A/B testings, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's amazing. And the
I don't
thing is,
know if
it's
enough people use. I mean, maybe it is for
very
me, but
actually a lot of people don't. And I'll
yeah,
tell you why. It's not that they don't want to do the testing. It's actually the hardest thing, and where we're innovating next is the hardest thing is thinking about what do I want to test,
well, yeah,
and
I
then
want
like
a
you got to
pink or a
create
green. I
yeah,
had to think to do that.
you got to think about
Why
it.
would
You
I
got to
even
create the
think that?
test,
Yeah,
then you got
move
to
it
like run
down.
it.
Yeah,
So, well, we actually, where I think the next world, the sort of the next phase, right, as AI has really transformed, AI has transformed how people create, but where I think AI is going to really move the market is how AI augments your team and partners with you to operate. And so, where people are like, I don't have the time to dream up tests. I don't have the time to go build it and implement it. I don't have time to see how it performed. We're building agents that will work with you to actually create those
figure that out
variants,
for you,
to
and
run
to
it,
run a
to
million
tell
things,
you,
to come
to
back and
make
say,
suggestions.
to change it for you.
Exactly.
It's worth mentioning, I learned what A/B test, but let's explain it. It means that when I access your website today, I will get
You'll get
potentially a
a
different
variant. Yeah.
website to a person sitting next to me who accesses the exact same website. And it
Yep.
could be call to action, a color, it could be a complete different landing page, it could be anything. Yes.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be a
Yes.
multivariate test.
And then you see how long I stay on the page, what
Yep.
I click, where I go to, how,
Yep.
do I just close it down? Which sites do I go to? Blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Exactly.
I love it because it's so data driven. It's fascinating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And based off of sort of the number of tests, because it's not just A/B. People think there's only two tests you're running, right? There's like one variant and a second variant, but we actually can do multiple variables. So it could be like a hero image, it could be content, it could be color, and we could test them across like hundreds of thousands of variants. So you could actually run so many tests at the same time. And we'll actually look at the data and look at what's performing and start to organize it for you and help you
That's where
understand what's
AI would be
winning.
crazy good to just like, actually, let's focus it down on whatever, like as it
Yeah,
just constantly doing those things.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so we actually have it's continuous optimization that is testing all these different variables for you. So you don't have to dream up the exact test and say like this one versus this one, but rather we say, let's test it all. And we'll come back and we'll tell you what is the optimal solution
Yeah. And
to
it
drive
might
the outcome you
change
want. Yeah. And it actually
because that's
continuously
the point. It
changes.
might be that now, but
But
for
2 weeks it
whatever
might
reason,
change.
weirdly, like why are we even changing like that? But yeah,
Exactly.
it's super. Yeah. That's super cool. So you guys, that'll be an interesting AI space. I was going to ask you about, it used to be SEO, search engine optimization. And
Now
in
it's
fact,
AEO.
yeah, AEO. So when I first got to Megaport, we actually had to rebuild the entire websites, all these pieces, get all the SEO work. It was a disaster. It was something that it was built in 2015 and everything was broken. It was a mess. And I arrived there in 2023. So think of that distance in that time. So we went and rebuilt, and it was all about speed and fast and beautiful and all the links and all the web optimization, all those pieces. And even interestingly, to this day, the largest amount of leads come from organic from our website
Organic
organically.
search.
Exactly. And it's linked back to that, which is, I think it's cloud connecting between clouds. Such a weird thing that we become the thing that we show up on. Now, we obviously are a cloud connector, but it was interesting because Amazon spent so much time never talking about another cloud. And so we ended up as the top result for everyone because no one else would ever acknowledge there was another cloud. And we were the only ones saying multi-cloud. It's just this bizarre thing. Anyway, it still feeds us a lot of stuff. When AI came along, I was like, holy, we're going to lose our
Leisure positioning.
positioning
Yeah.
or whatever. And now AI is making these decisions. And so explain to me how that's, by the way, that's blowing up everyone's view on how these SEO works. I assume entire industries of advertising was built on this and marketing and what have you. It's literally almost thrown, it feels like it's thrown out the window. You could probably convince me one way or another of whether that's true, but it feels like that. And then we go, all right, well, I'm so worried now. How do I don't know, become the answer in ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is that for me, it'd be like CPU, GPU, storage, compute, network, whatever. So if anyone wants that, how do I become the answer to that equation? As a CEO, like it's really, really difficult. And the other thing that's so hard, I don't know, it used to be easy to do Google advertising.
Yeah. You just paid.
Oh my God, you paid? I had a little real estate business that my parents ran, and I just did all this Google advertising, and I used to get it for like $3 a click or whatever it was. And now the click-through cost just
It's
seems like
astronomical.
astronomical. So I thought this was just us. I was losing my mind thinking this is just unbelievable. And I find other people are paying. I'm like, oh, we're not that bad, even though it feels so painful. And the other thing that's so annoying is we used to be able to track everything so beautifully with all this GDPR or whatever it is, all this
Now
rules,
it's really hard.
all the cookie, blah, blah. You can't actually tell if it's the same person, how long they stayed there. So it's actually, we've removed so much visibility
Yeah.
that we used to have. So I actually think that the CMO's job
It's
in
so hard.
today is infinitely harder than it was literally 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
And actually, I didn't even know. It's so hard to make decisions on it. You used to be able to invest money in something and do the data to say exactly what the return was. Now it's like it's gone backwards to you can't even tell
Yeah.
in many cases
It's so
what
hard
it
to measure
is.
success.
To measure success. And then you have this debate. Well, maybe we just stop investing in it. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but then
Do I
what
cut the
happens?
budget? And then what
Yeah,
happens?
exactly.
And was
What-
it because of that or was it something
I don't know
else?
exactly.
It's
like,
really hard.
We're talking for bigger companies. This could be millions and millions and millions of dollars a month of decision that actually is a lot of people are blinded by. So anyway, I feel that it's a really difficult place. I assume that
It's so tough.
you're the tip end.
We see it all the
pointy end of
time.
this thing.
We
Yeah.
see it with all of our, I mean, we sell to CMOs, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're feeling it. So one, what you're seeing on organic search,
So it's not just us.
no, not just you, it's everybody, right? Like
Okay.
everyone with organic search is seeing
Yeah.
anywhere from
Yeah.
15 to 50% declines in their organic search traffic.
Yes. So
Right?
organic search is declining.
It's declining
Yeah.
really fast. And some of them are seeing some sort of makeup and traffic that's coming from answer engines, ChatGPT or
And you
Anthropic,
can
like
track
Claude.
that. You can see
You
that.
can see that. So you
Okay.
can see via
You can see that it's someone that's clicked in ChatGPT and landed on your
yes.
website.
Yeah. So you can see sort of the referring agent,
Yeah.
right? So you can tell like what traffic is coming from, organic search, what's coming from an answer
ChatGPT is the
engine.
blood or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can actually see the breakdown by the types of bots. Is it a bot that's like indexing you? Is it a bot that's coming directly from a search? Or is it a bot that's just like refreshing content? So you can actually see the breakdown of that as well. We offer visibility
Bot
into that.
indexing it. That's more like a Google thing, or is that actually like
Very
a
similar to a Google
ChatGPT
thing. So it's
Or it could
it would
both?
be like a ChatGPT bot. So you might
okay.
actually see a ChatGPT indexing bot
So
that is just indexing your
ChatGPT's got
site.
like an indexing function like
Yep.
Google
Yep.
did.
Exactly.
wow.
Very similar. So there's multiple types of bots per answer engine. Some are like a sort of like a search orientation. Some are just indexing. Some are just refreshing your content.
And Google's growing.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
remember
well,
like a
because
year ago.
Gemini, right?
Yeah.
AI overviews is their answer engine. So you'll see a mix of Google search and Gemini AI overviews traffic, which is doing incredibly well, right? I think they just announced at I/O they're doing like 2.5 billion like users monthly.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's so funny because like a year ago, everyone was like, "Oh, actually, or maybe it was a year and a half ago. Like
Yeah.
Google's dead and ChatGPT is going to take it all." And actually, what ended up happening to Google just accelerate.
Yeah,
That's,
they just took off.
It's wild. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you? What do you think about in terms of an AI? How do you optimize for AI? Like
Yeah.
what
So
is that?
there's this new practice called AEO that
AEO.
everyone's talking about. So it's answer engine optimization. So
Okay.
versus search engine
Yeah,
optimization, which is
answer
SEO.
engine. Okay, answer engine,
Um,
not AI optimization.
Exactly, it's
Okay.
answer engine,
All right.
and it's
Never
very
heard of that.
similar to
Answer.
SEO.
The answering engine, the
I know,
engine that
the
can answer everything.
engine that answers everything.
What is the meaning of life, answer engine? Answer me.
Tell me, answer it. But yeah, so with AEO, you do very similar things to SEO in that you're trying to optimize for the answer engine to understand you, to essentially rank you, to index
Is
you.
it similar, or
It's
like how much changes are you doing?
it's similar conceptually in
Yeah.
that you're trying to achieve the same results of like you're trying to be recognized by these answer engines and ultimately be referred
Yeah.
or recommended.
Are
But
these
the-
answer engines also looking at all the links too? You remember the whole
Exactly. They're looking at your
all that,
backlinks,
Okay. Yeah.
but like they look at a lot more. So like the top things that we talk about is content authority. So it'll look at your website and let's say you're inconsistent about how you articulate what your company does, what products you have, and the content that it also sees beyond your website doesn't match up. It gives you a low content authority score at that point. If you're telling fundamentally different stories between like your social and your third party published content and your website. So it's really
Which is
important.
probably an issue for companies as they take on more products. We keep
Absolutely.
taking on more and more products.
Yeah, and these answer engines don't understand
they're like,
what
"What are
a
you?"
company does because they're
Yeah.
like, well, what product is it? And
Which
what is your
one?
purpose?
Yeah.
What's your vision? What's your mission?
Mm.
So content authority is really important and clearly articulating what you do.
Is that still something that can be delivered via blogs or
Absolutely.
yeah? So that
Absolutely.
is sort of that search engine optimized.
It's very similar in that sense, in
yeah.
that like, if you're adding like fresh content to your site, it's written in a way that it's like getting high authority scores, it's matching content that you have elsewhere, that ranks really well. Answer engines are ultimately they're agents, right? They're bots that are looking at your site. And so the other thing that we tell you to optimize for is making sure that your site is legible by these agents. And so site schema is really important. Structure, how you think about even like your metadata tags and things like that are really important.
Clean, you got that, yeah. Which
Exactly.
I guess is a similar thing to SEO. So it's a
Yeah.
similar fundamental. We have found, interestingly, we have an incredible docs page for all of our products,
Yep.
and it breaks down how to deploy every one of our products.
That's excellent. That's so important.
That seems to be what gets picked up. People
helps a
say like
lot.
how to connect between this site to that, how to deliver bare metal, how to go to a cloud from this, and it actually somehow has obviously figured out that our docs page, which is, and by the way, like our docs people, I love our docs page. It's like megaport.docs, I think it is. And it's just like so simple. But every product is in there. How
Yeah.
to deploy with images, with steps and all those pieces. Every single product.
Structured content,
Yeah.
really clear
Yes.
information,
Yeah.
organized in a way that's
Exactly.
legible, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
agents love Markdown
Yeah.
or just structured content. And when you organize it that way, it ranks really well.
It's funny. That's
FAQs
there you
do
go.
really, really well,
Yes.
right? So it's
Yes.
just having really rich content that
mm.
clearly articulates what you do helps your AEO score a lot.
Yes. It's funny because, yeah, most of the fluffy marketing stuff anyways.
Lands poorly.
Yeah.
Imagine someone just reading it and not knowing like what website they're on. Could they figure out what you are, who you are?
No.
How's an agent going to figure it out?
No, 100%. Or if it's a
Yeah.
picture.
Exactly.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, cool. So you've got a ton of developers inside your business.
Yep.
I assume lots of developers. It's more
Yeah.
you're a very big software.
We're a software platform. Yeah.
What's happening with coding? So are they just all gone crazy? Are you getting all these? Are you turning up with like these giant bills coming out that you didn't expect, or everyone wanting tokens? And I wanted to
Token maxing.
token maxing. I'm going to work. Yeah,
Always,
vampires
always.
turning into like I got 11 agents building code at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm never stopping. Yeah.
We do have, I think it's I think every company sort of is going through a very similar life cycle of, give everyone the tools, turn on the tools, like token max, like build things. And, I think it's actually more of a like divergent conversion sort of experience where you want people to like be really familiar with the technology. You want them to build, you want them to experience these aha moments of, wow, with AI, I can go so much faster. I can do this. But at the same time, AI is not perfect. It needs context. And so, the risk is you sort of just start with this divergent like experience. And what happens very quickly is suddenly developers are being DDoSed by, it's so easy to create code. Who's reviewing the code? That's right?
our issue.
And so you need to figure out like, how do you actually transform how you work, not just how you take one piece of it and blow it up. And so we're thinking about how do we ensure that AI is creating high quality code that fits with our business, that is like actually has a full life cycle of like not only creating the code, reviewing the code, testing the code, like actually running it out in production, having our whole CI/CD cycle like work with it. And so the things that we're investing in are not only enabling our teammates and like putting the tools in their hands and letting them play, but transforming our processes to work well with it and building what, a lot of people are talking about coding harnesses, but like building a harness
What is that
around our software. So, like right now, if you use, I don't know, like Opus, you're going to just be like, write me an application that does this. And it's a generic application that follows some high level best practices from like online, but like it may pick a language, it may pick a structure, like there's not really much there. But when you want to actually build on an existing product, there's already best practices. There's like, how do we think about APIs? How do we actually think about the different methods that we create? How do we actually structure it? What is the language?
Yeah.
And so what you
Do
need is a
feed that
harness.
to the machine. And
The
then
harness, you build a
Okay,
harness. A
yeah.
harness is actually like
this
your
is
context
the
layer.
rules or the
This is how we
the
operate.
principles.
Here's our
almost.
documentation. Here's
Yeah.
what things do.
Yeah.
Here's how these systems connect. But
Yes.
it's essentially a context layer that when you're actually creating code, that code is creating within that harness. It's understanding the context of your business so
Would
that
you
whatever it
feed your
creates
entire
fits.
code base into this in effect, or like I don't even know.
More or
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
You
sort of
like
say, here's our code
you sort
base.
of like
These are our
learn off
principles.
of your code
these
base,
are
and
our-
it's the harness ends up being sort of it's a mix of like markdown skills and capabilities and
So-
best
so whoever's-
practices.
This seems like a massive scaler of the company if you get the thing right.
Absolutely.
So you need someone super clever to
You need a lot of
harness.
someone.
You need a harness. people.
Exactly. You need people
Harness
who are
engineers.
investing in your harness, who are building it and adding the context of your code base to it so that whatever gets generated is leveraging the harness and creating stuff that fits your product, that works well. And then you still need to like do all the other things in terms of like making sure things are getting QA'd properly. You're writing the right test coverage.
That's
But that's a big unlock. That's what really is going to transform
so
the speed.
you'll be over us on this one. We've got, I think, 90 developers inside the business, and each one of them is like going wild on Claude in some way. Some of them are extreme versions of that. Some of them are, probably slower to take that up, but they're still all producing way faster than they were. The problem is all the QA, it lands like tons of, so we've had to, and I don't know if everyone gets this right, but we've had to pivot the folks to actually review each other's code as opposed to having to have QAs, because basically you had a whole bunch of QAs that were just getting fed like a 10,000
being
fire hose,
crushed.
just getting
yeah.
crushed. And they're like, actually, this doesn't work. It actually doesn't scale because they
No.
can't actually get anything through anyways. And then they go, actually, we need to flip this on its head. We get everyone to each review each other's code or something. And that, look, hopefully, Claude gets a little bit better in terms of the QA piece or something, or someone solves that equation on the next release. But that seems to be, for me, it feels like that's the bottleneck or the.
Well, so for us, we're like using AI to write test suites.
Yeah.
And we're using AI to actually like run code against these test suites and like actually check against like different synthetic experiences, so that instead of having someone QA it, like AI should QA it.
Yeah.
If AI is running it, it should QA it.
Yeah.
And so it's about creating this, like these constraints and these
feedback loop or
guardrails.
something
Yeah.
on that,
Like,
yeah.
because ultimately, if you have a closed loop here where you can actually write, create, test, like iterate, like you can actually get really great output. And so we are looking for areas of our code base where, it's less complex, less integration, where we actually have agents. We have AI that's basically running on the side. So as a ticket comes in that's like, hey, build this feature, you can actually pick off the ticket, write the spec, code it up, test it, push it to production. And these are like sort of the low risk areas. But like, we're creating these like closed loop AI experiences where AI can actually run the whole thing end to end. And what allows it to happen
Yeah,
is
it's
our
literally
harness.
take a request.
Yeah.
I want this.
Yeah.
There it is.
Like build it and here it is.
Great news.
Yeah. So like that is the future we want to build towards, because anywhere where like, everything is like a, whether it's your software development lifecycle or your end-to-end like build experience, you have all these different steps along the way. And if only one step is AI powered and everything's not,
Yeah, that's everything else.
you're just going to
agreed.
you're going to find a different bottleneck.
Well, you just hit another, the roadblock or the
Yeah.
bottleneck is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
that's
have to
fascinating.
you have to think about how you leverage AI to unlock every part of that life cycle.
Have you found it easy to get the engineering team to change? We find different varying views. Some folks actually love coding. And one of our head guys actually was like, it's taking away the one thing that I love doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I said, you'll find a way to actually be able to instruct it to code for you a lot faster, but I actually love the art of coding, and I'm like a little bit sad in that instance, but it was like there's extreme versions of where people are at, and getting humans hate change,
Yeah.
and so
Change is tough.
and engineers hate change a lot because they love a black and white component. So how the hell do you manage that bit? Like I actually think this is a big issue for everyone right now. So it's like, I don't know, you don't have to do the answer and probably be all that, but what's the philosophy that you're at least taking with it?
Honestly, it's standard change management. Any leadership role, you have to do some sort of change management, whether it's bringing people along the ride for AI or changing things just with the business. Change management is hard and it's tough. And, I think it's for engineers who are feeling this a lot on the AI
Big change for
side.
engineers. Like for 20 years, it's been the same. And all of a
Exactly.
sudden it's not.
Now it's different. And now
A lot
you
of
have
these people are
AI
like
and
pretty strict in their thinking on things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the key is when you see these technical transformations, these like step function changes that we see, like probably the last time you saw this was like, frankly,
The internet, I don't know.
the internet, or even like before that, the Industrial Revolution, right?
yeah,
Like, see
yeah.
these like massive transformations, and
But it
like
just happens.
there are people who go with
This
the
is happening way
change.
faster.
Yeah.
That's the bit that the humans
It's scary because
struggle
it's so
with.
fast.
Yeah, like at least Industrial Revolution, it's like trains.
Yeah.
It'd take you 10 years to build a train track,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Now that's fast in that period, but this is happening in a month.
Yeah.
2
These
months, 3
models
months.
transform every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks,
And
yeah.
so it's a scary change, and it's one where the decision of, are you going to go with it, or are you going to be left behind? Are you going to be a part? Like every person has to make that call for themselves.
And then there's one of the things that all the SaaS companies, you're not public, so you don't have to deal with this pain, thankfully. But it's like there's been this SaaS apocalypse. We've seen everyone thinks that everyone's software is just going to be replaced by AI. It's like the market woke up one day and everyone's just literally going, oh no, code can replace everything you do, which I think is a total over exaggeration, and they're going to pivot pretty quickly back. But maybe not quickly, maybe it takes them whatever, but that has occurred. How does that look for your business in terms of, are you just going to be disappeared by, is AI going to take over your business? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think I think everyone's afraid of that. The same way that they're afraid of every SaaS company is sort of down in the market right now.
they're all down.
I
It's
just,
like crazy.
I don't believe it,
No,
but
me
I think
neither.
there is just there's a narrative about it. And I
Yes.
think the narrative is wrong because
Markets are so
like,
extreme, they don't
it's so
understand either.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the idea that a company is just the code that it produces
Yeah.
is the
If it was that
falsehood.
simple, everything would have been replaced already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to think about like what's actually behind that. Like
Mm.
the easiest argument is people are like, oh yeah, all the software is going to be replaced. Like Workday is dead, right? Like these HRIS, and every employee hates whatever HRIS system they're using.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, let me tell you how much
So
I'm not going to
complicated.
spend time building my own
Vibe coding a
HRIS.
HR engine or
That's
or a, yeah,
awful.
it's
Because it's
awful.
like,
Yeah.
even if I could build it, let's say I could build it in a couple of weeks, I then have to maintain it.
Manage it,
I
make
have
sure
to
it's
think
compliant.
about, I
And
have
then
to
when
look
your
up all the
employee
compliance. I have
sues
to
you
like,
because you didn't actually follow the proper process in
exactly.
Germany, you're like,
Right.
oh,
When things break, it's like sucks.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
even when it comes down
No,
to
it's too
software,
funny.
right? When you build your own software, there are pieces of it where you're like, it doesn't make sense for us to build in-house. We should go to another firm and use their, authentication system, their security system, right? Like
There's
the
so many
reason
examples of
why,
better software today before AI,
yeah,
but we still don't move.
exactly.
Yeah, it might
And
be
it's
cheaper, easier, better, blah 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 blah. We still will like, no, I'm not doing that.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
because software is not just the code behind it.
Mm.
It's the thinking, it's the expertise, it's the context, it's like all the like, and it's living. Like the idea that software is just like a thing you build and you leave it is silly. Like as soon as you build it, it's in a state of like decline, right? It has to be maintained and managed. And so the reason why I don't think software companies are going away is because it's not the code that's actually the value. It's the team, it's the context, it's the space. It's like finding a narrow niche in which you can build code, but maintain that code to deliver value because no one else wants to build it.
And also behind these software platforms is a huge amount of infrastructure
Absolutely.
that they figured out how to operate.
Yeah, they have to figure out how to
optimize and
operate at
protect.
scale because like the only reason why these companies make money is they've found economies of scale somewhere.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You don't want to have to do that for every single thing you're going to run.
markets overreacted on that side. It's nice to be private when that happens because you can just avoid.
Yeah, you just avoid all the valuation
all the
conversations.
noise. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, but then I guess what do you guys want to do in the future? Is it everyone's like every private CEO wants to be public, every public CEO wants to be private? What's the what do you want to do for the broader business? What's the plans there?
Yeah, for me, like private versus public doesn't really make a difference. Like it's just like it's a moment in time for a company to go public or, just stay private. For me, it's just being mission driven, right? Like the only reason why I'm the CEO is because all I care about is our mission and our vision and what we want to do. I'm not, if you want me to be a CEO to take a company public, you got the wrong gal. I'm just here to take the vision and figure out how do I keep us moving in that direction and try to like pursue this infinite dream as effectively as possible. And so for like the future of Webflow to me is where we started as this technology that helped people visually build websites. I now want to visually manage them. I want to like create the new endpoints, like whether you want to access us via an MCP, a CLI, or directly with an API. I want you to be able to build, manage, and optimize those experiences and have the agentic fleet that can augment your team and work with you on how you operate. And it's a big, bold vision of where we think marketing is going, but that's what I want to build. And, like ultimately, if we're successful, what we'll have done is we'll have supported, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of customers and running their organizations, drive growth for their businesses, and like built something that it's like truly delivering value on a regular basis.
So, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Like, get behind that mission. You mentioned something throughout that you should explain. Well, all these MCPs and things. Like, what does that even mean? That's really we found this out the other day. I learned this, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. But it's like the interface of how an AI would. It's like an
Absolutely.
API for the AI. Is that sort
Exactly.
of the
More or less. It's
Yeah.
like, so if you think, so one of the things that's top of mind for me is this concept of AX. It's, where UX is user experience, AX is agent experience. And
which is
if you think about we've always thought about software as something that we have to build for an end user, someone like you or I, right? So it's typically a visual experience. But if you imagine a world where it's not just like agents building code, but agents running workflows, the touch point is actually not you or me logging in and doing something. It's actually going to be an agent logging in and doing something. And so you need to build your product such that an agent can access it, interact with it, and actually run those workflows effectively. And so from an AX perspective right now, a lot of people are using MCPs, so model context protocols. These MCPs are a way where you can essentially uh, allow an agent to come and interact with your product and run it via this, right as
Actually,
like a prompting
yeah,
experience, but like
push
it's
things to it, actually make decisions,
yeah,
execute. In our case, they can build up an entire network and buy it or execute it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a protocol that allows agents to essentially interact with your product.
So you can help build, like I was just thinking as you said that, remember with this whole vision of product-led growth,
Yeah.
it was the holy grail.
Yeah, that was a holy grail.
Holy
Everybody
grail.
wanted it.
For no salespeople, everyone just finds it and grows. What we've seen like almost Claude-led growth.
Yeah.
Just where Claude is deciding that this is a great software platform to leverage, or this is more efficient VM, or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. Is that where you can also be a part? Like, is there a way in the world where we used to have to market for product-led growth using a website? Maybe there's ratings and reviews or whatever it may be, and then a human might decide without talking to someone buy something. Are you doing that with your websites in effect to actually try to convince or actually pitch the product better to an AI platform? And if you can pitch your product better via that platform, you no different to the product-led growth, you win the deal here, but you're going to win the AI
Absolutely.
piece. Yeah.
That's the hope, right? So
Yeah.
one, from a mix of how do we show up in the answer engines,
Yes.
right, with AEO,
Yeah.
but two, the access points, the agent UX. And so if you
Can
actually
the agent
have,
buy
can it
from
actually,
you?
can it
Yeah,
interact
like
with you? Can it run on your
yeah,
platform? Can it
yeah.
take action? And so are you servicing an MCP, or are you servicing, like, can someone access you via like a CLI, right? Command line interface, or just directly if a developer wants to hit your API. I think the new experience, and credit to Salesforce, they're the first ones to really put it out there, but like the concept of headless software, so that the first
Headless
touch point,
being no.
it's not necessarily like a visual
Yeah.
experience, right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, you will have one, but if you imagine the
You understand
primary
what I
way,
mean.
the primary way someone's going to interact with your software is via like an agent.
Yeah.
You're going to want to create this headless experience that is essentially API oriented, that allows like an MCP to come in, or you could use a CLI to come in.
But somehow is pitching your product over someone else, and it makes a decision to use that versus other products
Yes,
within it.
in a
So
way,
that's
yes, in doing that.
yeah.
So you're creating the access points,
Yeah.
right, by making it headless, and then things like AEO and like integrating with these, with Claude or with like Codex or something, is what makes it easy for someone to build in Claude and be like, oh, actually, like if I'm building a website, yeah, build it in a Webflow, use this MCP server and build it. Show me this thing, like integrating with the point that people are creating. So whether they're creating in Claude Code, or they're creating in Codex, or they're creating in Gemini, like having those integrations with these frontier labs in terms of like these
And
worker
does one MCP
spaces.
work for all you, or you create for each one? I can't.
You can create an MCP in which you'll want to create like essentially integrations with
Yeah.
each of these sort of model providers.
Yeah. Okay.
But like it's still one MCP, and then it's just sort of like making it work for each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only learned about MCP the other day, which is when you mentioned, I was like, that's really interesting. Cool. Okay. So you got a lot to do.
Lots to do. And the market is moving really fast.
Oh, it's wild. Yeah.
So-
There's so much change. I think the one thing that I was caught up with a number of our customers in the Bay Area, they're all just blowing their mind at how fast things are changing. And the answer has been, how quickly can we adapt to it? So it's funny. I think the winners are going to be the ones that move the fastest at the moment.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it's pivoting so quickly. And if you can pivot your entire company, and this is why I think it's all of a sudden the CEO becomes a key part of this, because it's only one person that can 100% move an entire company in a moment, and that has to come from the top. Whereas before, things would move and decisions would eventually get up to you, but you could take time. But you need to make decisions almost on a daily basis and actually place bets on these pieces and watch them fail and figure it out and scale it. So I think you're super well positioned for it. You're the right leader for it. So
Thank you.
I love seeing what you're doing. Yeah, keep building, keep going crazy. Anything you wanted to share with anyone?
No, that's it.
You've shared a lot. I've unpicked your whole life.
I
but,
know.
it's
Way to
such a
just like dig
fascinating
in
life.
there.
I know, but it's amazing. Yeah, so cool. So check out Webflow. Follow LT. How do you follow you? When are you on?
LinkedIn or Twitter
Okay.
or X.
Tweets, X. Yeah, true.
Tweet me on
I
X.
still call it Twitter.
I know.
Do you know when you search on your iPhone, you type Twitter, it
Yeah.
still brings up X?
Oh, yeah,
It's
of
so
course.
helpful for me. Yeah. All right. Good to see you.
All right, good to see you.
Thanks for joining us on Uplink. See you next time.